Boris Johnson is under growing pressure to review his 10 p.m. curfew rule after hordes of pub-goers were spotted milling around the streets after closing time. Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham called for an urgent rethink and warned the early closing time may be doing more harm than good. The Labour politician warned it was leading to a rush to off licences and creating an incentive for people to gather in each other's homes. Downing Street is also under pressure from ministers and Tory MPs over the apparently unforeseen consequences of the curfew. John Apter, national chairman of the Police Federation, said police had difficulty dispersing large crowds that gathered with only limited numbers of officers available. But Number 10 ruled out a review and sought to shift the blame for chaotic scenes onto party-goers instead. The PM's official spokesman claimed Mr. Johnson had been clear everybody has a part to play to prevent the need for stricter measures. Critics of the 10 p.m. curfew seized on data showing 3% of confirmed or suspected outbreaks under active investigation by Public Health England were at pubs or restaurants. 22 out of 772 acute respiratory infection incidents in the week to September 20 involved hospitality. That compared to 341 in educational settings and 195 in care homes. But the officials said the measure is not a reliable indicator of where outbreaks may be happening because it only includes those under active investigation by the body. Some pub and restaurant outbreaks will not be investigated by FE specifically because it focuses on care homes and schools where an outbreak might still be spreading. Data realized on the same day by NHS Test and Trace in fact found eating out was the most common thing people did in the days before testing positive. Matt Hancock faced calls from MPs in the Commons to remove the 10 p.m. curfew. Labour's Rachel Maskell said, "Mr. Hancock would have seen clips of what happened in my constituency on Saturday night at 10 o'clock as the streets filled out with young people enjoying themselves, partying, no social distancing, and clearly creating the worst of environments." Could Mr. Hancock now review that policy of the 10 o'clock curfew to ensure that our streets and our neighbourhoods are safe? Mr. Hancock replied, "Well, we always look at the effects of these policies. We've got to take everything into the round, including the level of social distancing that might have been going on with that to continue all through the night. And one of the reasons that we brought in this policy is because we've seen it work in other countries, as Ms. Maskell knows." Ministers are looking at plans to ban all socialising across much of northern England and London to combat a second wave of coronavirus. All pubs, restaurants, and bars could be ordered to shut for 2 weeks under the circuit break plan. However, Number 10 sources suggested there would be no new nationwide restrictions announced this week as health chiefs want to give the latest measures a minimum of 2 weeks to see if they are working. But they warned the public should be braced for tougher regulations if cases continued to rise in certain parts of the country. Ministers suggested that Merseyside, the North East and Lancashire were first in line with the capital in the balance as they struggled to slow the spread of the disease. Millions more people would also be banned from meeting each other indoors like they already are in many local lockdown zones. Schools and shops would be allowed to remain open, along with factories and offices at which staff could not work from home. Liverpool City Region Metro Mayor Steve Rotherham said, It is right that, if the current restrictions are not proving to be enough, that the government considers every option available to protect people and stop the spread of the virus. But he added, however, if they are going to force another shutdown of the hospitality industry and a ban on all social gatherings, then they need to put in place proper financial support for councils and local public health teams for business to prevent them from going under and to stop thousands of people losing their jobs through no fault of their own.